When Foreign Affairs Minister jetted back to the country from North Sudan, where he met President al-Bashir to resolve a diplomatic spat precipitated by the issuance of an arrest warrant for him by the High Court, Wetangula had good news for Kenyans, that al-Bashir had withdrawn all the sanctions he had ordered on Kenya. Wetangula could not disclose any demands by the Sudanese president in exchange of the sanctions withdrawal, but he did say that al-Bashir had written a letter to President Mwai Kibaki.
We are carrying a letter to the president, we don't know the content.
But as it has emerged, al-Bashir had on Friday evening given the government a 2-week ultimatum to overturn Judge Nicholas Ombija's ruling, calling for his arrest should he visit the country.
Al-Bashir appears to be telling the Kenya government, give orders to your judiciary to overturn that ruling, to reverse that ruling. He may be able to do it in Khartoum. The government in Nairobi cannot do that anymore. Now we have the new constitution.
According to Muita, al-Bashir's ultimatum is absurd, impossible to beat, and should be ignored.
He's got this wrong idea that this is a military dictatorship. You can say this today and do the other thing tomorrow. The bluff should be called and he should be ignored.
Muita says the executive arm of the government has no option but to respect the judiciary's independence, and that the only step it can take now is appeal against the arrest warrant, which may drag for some time.
I appreciate there are some people who have to come back to Kenya, but those are prices that we need to pay because of our self-respect and dignity as a nation.
Judge Nicholas Ombija ruled last Tuesday, directing the Attorney General and Internal Security Minister to enforce the ICC warrant on Bashir if he sets foot in the country. Bashir is wanted by the ICC for crimes against humanity in Darfur. Lilian Mwendo for Sunday Interactive.
While the joint fight against Al-Shabaab militias by the Kenya Defence Forces and the Transitional Forces government continues, Military Information Officer Colonel Cyrus Oguna has called on Somalis living in the diaspora to stop channeling funds to the militias. Oguna said some of the Al-Shabaab members arrested and handed over to TFG are alleged to have come from abroad to facilitate some operations.
Most of the people that have been arrested and handed over to TFG are actually people, some of them have been from the diaspora. Anybody who could be thinking of coming to join Al-Shabaab, we are telling them what you're coming to do is to die.
Oguna said there is a humanitarian crisis in Somalia, especially in places where Al-Shabaab control, since locals have no access to basic living things and are being intimidated. In Garissa, Acting DC Ambrose Lochokwe has urged residents to cooperate with the government in its initiative to wipe out terrorists in the country.
Milipuko kadhaa hapa na pale, na nataka tu kuwatahadharisha wananchi na kuwakumbusha kwamba usalama wetu uko katika mikono yetu sisi wote. Ni jukumu la kila mmoja wetu kuhakikisha kwamba anachukua hatua madhubuti ili tuwe na usalama katika wilaya hii na hasa mji wa Garissa.
The church also called for countrywide prayers for the defense forces in Somalia, saying Kenyans should be united at a time when some people have risked their lives to ensure peace across the country.
Also praying for our soldiers in Somalia. The Lord is protecting you because you are fighting a good cause.
Emotions ran high when some of the people from the Ogaden community revealed their ordeal in the hands of the Ethiopian militias. The Ogaden alleged that they have suffered harassment, assassination and abuse both physically and mentally at the refugee camps in northern Kenya. The chairman of the Ogaden refugee community, Ahmed Farah Mohammed, appealed to the Kenyan government to protect the Ogaden refugees from external aggression.
When it comes to security issues, the UN Refugee Agency's ministry, they finger point to the Kenyan government that they are responsible for the security. And we discussed with them, and we are in a position to make them ahead of what they have done earlier.
Farah revealed that a top official from the Ogaden community, along with 4 others, were assassinated by unknown people in June this year. Farah said that they have held talks with UN officials many times, but the outcome has not yielded much.
The head of security and internal affairs of Ogaden was murdered in Nairobi on on June 19, 2011. Since such high killings happened, none of the institutions of the Kenyan government, either security or the administration, have taken any step.
The Ogaden refugee camps are located at the borders of Kenya and Ethiopia.